They laughed at him before he even finished the first note. A street singer from the Philippines, standing in front of a British music producer who had worked with legends. No fancy clothes, no connections, no second chances. What happened next didn't just silence the room, it rewrote his life. He had learned early in life that music doesn't always come from comfort. Back home in the Philippines, his days started before sunrise. Not because he wanted to practice early, but because the world demanded it. He grew up hearing songs not from concert halls, but from radios hanging in sari-sari stores, neighbors singing while working, and street performers turning pain into melody. Music wasn't a dream handed to him. It was something he held on to. As a teenager, he sang anywhere people would listen. Jeepneys, side streets, small gatherings. Sometimes people smiled. Sometimes they walked past. Sometimes they laughed. But he kept singing because every note felt like proof that his voice mattered. Years passed. Opportunities didn't come easily. Record labels felt distant. Auditions felt intimidating. Rejections felt personal. So when he finally saved enough money to travel abroad, he didn't go chasing fame. He went chasing possibility. London was louder than anything he had known. The streets moved faster. People moved faster. And yet, among the rush, street performers still existed. Singers, guitarists, drummers. All fighting for a moment of attention. That's where he found himself. Standing on a busy London street with a guitar that had seen better days. Singing songs filled with longing, hope, and quiet strength. Some people stopped. Most didn't. But every day he sang as if someone important was listening. Because maybe one day they would be. That day came unexpectedly. Someone nearby recognized him. Not as a star, but as someone different. Someone whose voice carried weight. That person leaned in and whispered something that made his heart race. There's a British music producer over there. Not just any producer. A man who had worked with some of the biggest names in music. A man whose opinion could shape careers. Fear crept in. He almost said no. But something deeper pushed him forward, years of being overlooked, years of singing into the noise, years of wondering what if. He approached respectfully, introduced himself softly, said he was a street singer from the Philippines, asked humbly if he could sing just one song. The producer looked at him, not with curiosity, not with interest, with judgment. The clothes, the accent, the street background. A small laugh escaped the producer's mouth. Not loud enough to cause a scene, just enough to sting. The kind of laugh that says, I already know how this ends. People nearby noticed. Some shifted uncomfortably. Others waited for the inevitable disappointment. All right? The producer said, clearly unconvinced. Go on. The singer took a breath. This wasn't just another performance. This was years of sacrifice condensed into one moment. He strummed the first chord. The sound cut through the street. Then he sang. And the laughter stopped. Not because the song was flashy. Not because it was loud. But because it was real. His voice carried stories of leaving home, of being underestimated, of believing in something when no one else did. The kind of voice that doesn't beg for attention but commands it quietly. People slowed their steps. A man pulling a suitcase stopped walking. A woman mid-phone call lowered her phone. Coins stopped clinking. The producer's smile faded. This wasn't amateur talent. This was control, precision, emotion sharpened by hardship. Each note landed exactly where it needed to. Each lyric felt lived, not learned. By the time he reached the chorus, a crowd had formed. Phones came out. Whispers spread. The street had transformed into a stage. The producer leaned forward. Arms crossed. Eyes fixed. The final note hung in the air. Silence. Then applause. Not polite applause. Not forced applause. The kind that erupts because people feel something break open inside them. The singer lowered his head, heart pounding. The producer didn't clap. He stepped closer. How long have you been singing? Where did you train? Why are you performing on the street? The questions came fast, no laughter now, no mockery. The singer answered honestly. He spoke about growing up with little, about singing wherever he could, about doors that never opened. Then he said quietly, no one gave me a chance. Something shifted. The producer nodded slowly. That video, filmed by someone in the crowd, spread faster than anyone imagined. Within hours, it was everywhere. People shared it with captions filled with anger, pride, and awe. How could he laugh? This is raw talent. Filipinos never disappoint. Millions watched a moment that almost never happened. The world saw the laugh, but they also saw the transformation. Days later, something unexpected happened. The producer spoke publicly. He apologized. Not vaguely, not defensively. He admitted he judged too quickly. Admitted he made assumptions. Admitted he was wrong. And then he extended an invitation. A real one. He invited the singer into the studio. For the first time, the man who had sung on sidewalks walked into a room built for legends. Soundproof walls, professional microphones, silence that demanded excellence. The singer stood there, overwhelmed. Same voice, same soul, different stage. He sang again, and this time no one laughed. Engineers listened intently. The producer watched carefully, not as a gatekeeper, but as a believer. That session led to more conversations, more recordings, more doors opening. The street singer didn't become famous overnight, but he gained something more powerful: respect. The respect that comes when talent is finally seen without prejudice. Today, his story travels farther than his voice ever could alone. It reminds the world of something simple and dangerous to forget. Talent doesn't look one way. Greatness doesn't wear a uniform. And sometimes the voices we laugh at are the ones that could change everything. Because if he had walked away that day, fear had won. If he believed the laugh, the world would have missed a voice it didn't know it needed. And that's why this story matters. Not because a producer apologized. Not because a video went viral. But because one person refused to stay silent and sang anyway.